We go. All right, guys. Good evening, YouTube. Good evening, good evening. Welcome to this next episode of the FPL Family. This is episode number 24, 23, 24, 23, I think. 23. It should be 24, but we missed one in the week, so I think it's 23.
Yeah, it feels like a while, doesn't it?
It does feel like a while. Yeah, missed you in midweek, guys. Missed you in midweek. So sorry we couldn't do the midweek one, but we are back tonight, and we've got our Gameweek 12 review video. So another great week of FPL. Another great week of FPL. First things first, I've got to explain to the people in the live chat that are relatively new to the channel. I've just put out there that, thanks everybody for joining Rondon Essential, ? And there's some people that are in the live chat that have been with us for a long time going, lol, or yeah, or for sure. And there's some people that are quite new to the channel going,
are you serious?
Are you mad? What the hell? What are you talking about? So for those of you that are quite new to FPL Family, I'm just going to move the microphone a bit closer to us. For those of you that are quite new to us, Rondon is a cult hero of ours, and this is why I was tweeting about him over the weekend, and particularly when he was out there doing the business against Bournemouth, because I think it was the beginning of last season when we first started FPL Family. You picked Rondon in one of your pre-season drafts.
He was in my pre-season all season.
He's in your the whole pre-season last year, and I just was giving you loads of abuse about having Rondon. Then right at the last minute, I think you took him out and switched him for somebody else. But because of that, guys, all of our pre-season videos when we started out FPL Family had all this kind of Rondon watch, and we had this thing with who got the assist, and because they had Alan Neom, and there was a big thing about Neom versus Rondon.
We won that.
It was just a silly Twitter thing. It's a silly Twitter thing. But the man is back. He's back with a bang.
And if he's going to play,
what a performance!
I think Rondon Watch can come back now.
Did you see his second goal?
Well, I did, but I think Rondon Watch is now.
I mean,
if he's going to start him, then Rondon Watch is it's on, guys. It's back on.
Alan Shearer was literally purring on Match of the Day last night about that second goal. The cross came in. I don't even know who crossed it in. Doesn't even matter. Kennedy, I think. What a header!
But do you know what was brilliant about all of this is that obviously we had our daughter's birthday party on Saturday.
Yeah.
And I went straight from that to another birthday party with my son.
You watched no football this weekend.
I watched Spurs because I was back for that.
Fine time for Spurs, of course, yeah.
And I so while I was at the second birthday party, one of Max's little school friends, I checked my phone, and for the first time all day, and my Instagram DMs were just full of people going, Rondon! And I was like, what's he done? It's 2 goals! Brilliant.
Well, to be fair, the first goal was pretty good, but the second goal was sensational. And on the same day that Danny Ings gets injured, now, obviously, we're going to do what we usually do in these streams, guys.
I just realised I'm very sparkly. I'm sorry.
Very glittery, so very glamorous, this, isn't it? Look at that. Very glamorous.
So we was out for our daughter's birthday, like I say, so I've just realised I look really glittery.
I got proper dressed up to go to the Harvester, didn't you?
Did
brilliant. Right, so we're going to do what we normally do, guys. We're going to look at all the fixtures and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, now that Danny Ings is injured, I'm actually possibly considering...
You can't have Rondon.
Possibly considering...
You can't have him.
Well, listen...
You're a bulk.
In a game week where I've become the most... And you've known this because you've been married to me for God knows how many years. But in a game week where I've become the most dull, boring FPL manager... And I've taken a lot of stick for it on Twitter. Rightly so, guys. I did the most boring transfer on Friday and went with my head and not my heart. More on that later on. But I picked Goodmanson. I picked Goodmanson over Shaqiri, which was a shocker. So do I dare go ultra weird and go Rondon for this? Who knows? Anything can happen from now. I don't know. I mean... After Goodmanson over Shaqiri, what I was thinking there... The thing is... Absolutely no idea.
The best part about this whole thing is that on Friday evening, he got home from work and he sat on the sofa and he went, right, Shaqiri, Goodmanson, there was a couple, there was about 3 or 4 of them.
I was looking at.
William.
Yeah,
and I remember him reading off this list and I went, Goodmanson?
Yeah.
And then
You went, of all of them, he's at the bottom of the list.
And I just went... Are you mad? And then left the room, went to the kitchen, and because I was so busy then baking cakes and various other stuff for the weekend, I didn't actually speak to Lee until today properly about FPL. When Shaqiri and I was like, "Oh, Shaqiri started. That worked well for you." And he went, "No, I got Goodmanson." And I was just like,
"Didn't do it."
You what? Why? What kind of parallel universe have you entered where Goodmanson is a better pick than Shaqiri for this game week?
Let's not even go there. And it's such a missed opportunity as well. Shaqiri not heavily owned and would have cancelled out the Salah captain thing. But listen,
we're talking about him all week.
I know. Don't rub it in. I know. I don't know why I went for a Burnley player over Shaqiri. I don't know. I got no idea. Even when I did it, it felt wrong. I hit transfer and it comes up success, didn't it? Not that I picked Isaac success. It says successful transfer. I look back at my team and just thought,
Why?
I've got a Burnley player. That is so dull. So dull, but never
Should've
mind.
just got Felipe Anderson like every other...
Oh, now here we go.
other...
Now we're talking about very, very good transfers, and we'll come to the success that you've had this week in the transfer window versus my completely dull and boring picks. As usual, guys, we're going to review the fixtures. We're going to look at where the points have come from. We'll look at who's on our radar now on the back of this game week. We'll do team reviews, league reviews, etc., etc. We'll be considering how we get Rondon into our teams. As ever, we've got some Aguero to Rondon. That's on, is it? That's on. Aguero can't stop scoring. And I don't know if you saw his haircut today, but that in itself warrants inclusion.
I think he's actually spent a little bit too much time with Mahrez.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think? He's gone a bit out there with the old silver fox, hasn't he?
It looks awful.
Do you think? I quite liked it.
No.
What do you think? Could I pull it off?
If you do it,
silver?
we're getting divorced.
Right, guys, as ever, we've got the polls in the top right-hand corner. So go to the little eye above my head, top right-hand corner.
We've actually managed to get some polls out anyway.
I've got some polls. So, guys, thank you for coming back to me on my tweet earlier today with some questions that we've got for the community. 4 questions tonight, 4 questions. And as I say, I don't set these questions. I don't set the answers. These come from the community. So these are what you guys would like answered. So, best set and forget captain for the next 5 game weeks. Do you want to go for Hazard, Sterling, Aguero or Salah? And that comes from at LX_designs, who is our very own Luke Walkinshaw.
Lovely.
So best set and forget captain for the next 5 from Luke. We've got a question that comes in from at Dan Thompson 7. He says, who's the must-own defender going into Christmas? Robertson, Alonso, Mendy or Trippier?
Oh, don't mention Trippier to me.
Yeah, very, very unlucky Trippier owners. Very unlucky this game week. Is Salah worth 13 million? Possibly the question that's knocking about on Twitter. And, you know, we will talk about him, obviously, for a little bit when we get to the Liverpool game. But is Salah worth 13 million? Yes or no? And that comes from Ibrahim at LBScan22. So thank you, Ibrahim, for sending that in. And then from Carry256, the last question, Rondon. Is Rondon now a goer? Now, the options I've got are there absolutely, yes, of course, or no. So pick one. I
thought they were all just going to be like, yes, absolutely, definitely.
Pick which one of those you want. That comes in from Carry256, who I know regularly joins these streams. So thank you, Carry, for that question. Those are the 4 questions, guys. Get onto the polls. Check out those questions and we will review them at the end if I remember. I know that either you'll remember or the guys will remember, but if I remember, we will talk about those questions. So let's say hello to a few of you guys and get in the live chat now. Say hello. Tell us what your scores are. Tell us who your best players, who was your top performing player, who was your player that you wished you had a bit more from. Let us know. Let us know how you got on this week. FPL Dare is in. How are you doing, FPL Dare? For those guys...
What's he doing this week?
Do you know what? FPL Dare had an awesome video last week where he basically took a load of penalties against his mate. And for you guys, that if you haven't checked out...
I like the banana one the best.
That was
my
good.
favourite.
That was very good. So you guys, if you haven't checked out FPL Dare, if you want to go and check out somebody doing something a little bit different with FPL, go search for FPL-Dare or FPL-Dare in the YouTube search box. Go check out FPL Dare. Done some really just weird and ridiculous videos, but they're that ridiculous. They're actually really, really entertaining.
It's what you should have done with your transfer this week.
What, if I miss a penalty, get Goodmanson, or if I score, get Shaqiri, something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, knowing my ability, I would have missed and gone Goodmanson anyway.
Or what you should have done is just let the little ones pick. That would have been a better option than
let
what you did.
Let the kids pick what I'm doing on FPL. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So FPL Dare is in. How are you doing, FPL Dare? Dan Van Hall is in, 44, captained Mane. Okay, MU Fan TV is it? I'm on 62 points. MU Fan TV, not bad. Actually, pretty good, I think. Pretty good. Robert Uniger is here. Josh Telling is here. Orsemo is here. How are you doing, Orsemo? 67 points. Joe Hart, the hero. Oh, imagine holding on to Joe Hart with a 9-pointer. Absolutely superb. Absolutely superb. Dasher Dude 27 is here. Hello there, 66 points. Very, very good. Mel Brooks, Melissa is here. Robbo is the boss this week.
Reigning
absolutely right.
FPL Family Manager of the Month.
Melissa, reigning FPL Manager of the Month. We will have a look, obviously, at the leagues and see who's in the running, the early running for the November Manager of the Month, and we'll see whether Melissa can hold on to her crown.
Let's find out.
2 mugs in the cupboard, potentially. Although we didn't send her the last one because she's out in somewhere sunny. Where was it? Oh, Barbados.
Yeah, she said we didn't need to send it to her because she's somewhere sunny. Maybe I send her a picture of it instead.
Because that's the same, isn't it?
I could still send her one of our FPL Family cards, actually.
Yeah, we could do that.
Mel, if you DM us your address, I'll send you one of our cards anyway.
Ricardo Pagan is here. How are you doing? Liam Wrist, 64. Time to get Gabbiadini. Do you know what? It felt like going back to 2017 this game week, didn't it? Rondon's banging them in, Joe Hart's keeping clean sheets, and Gabbiadini's scoring. It was like absolutely bizarre. Just a quick one from that game while we're here, and I appreciate, as ever, I'm waffling. Did you see, guys, and did you see the Charlie Austin post-match interview?
Charlie Austin's going to get fined.
Because Southampton were genuinely, I think, a little bit robbed. But even though, I mean, and players and teams get robbed every single week, but very few come out and air their views. It's going to be quite the way that Charlie Austin aired his views. So
he's never going to be allowed to do an interview after a match again.
To be honest, and who's saying that? Leo, thank you for joining. Austin interview was awesome. I tell you what, I liked it.
It was.
I like seeing that passion.
Breath of fresh air, wasn't it? Really,
you
never really get that. You get their media kind of front, don't you? When they come and talk to the cameras. Charlie Austin was just like, no holds barred. I'm angry.
No, but Will Hugel, thank you for joining me. He's said the exact thing. I was just going to say that. That's the non-league player coming in there, isn't it? Because Austin's been there, done it, in all the leagues throughout the land. He's been in the Evo stick, isn't he, or whatever it's called?
Yeah,
he's done it, and he just came out with that.
No chance of him ever interviewing again.
Absolutely brilliant. And FPL Dad, thank you for joining FPL Dad. He said Park Life. Now I know exactly what he means, guys. You've got to check this out, and I'll retweet if I get a chance. There is a remix, and we're so waffling tonight. We'll get onto the games in a minute, guys. There's a remix of Park Life with the Charlie Austin interview.
Is there?
You got to see it.
Oh, I have to watch that later.
It's absolutely brilliant. Rushil is here. How are you doing, Rushil? Sean Norton is here. How are you doing, Sean? Diraj is here. 62 points. Very good. -4 though. Goodmanson was his hit. You can join me in.
Did you tell people to get Goodmanson?
Sad corner. Well, I'm hoping Diraj didn't see what I was doing and decided to do that, because it was just a nightmare. It was a nightmare. Andrew Yee is here, Jasper's here, and all sorts of you. Carrie256, who we mentioned in the polls, is here. Jeff is here. Thank you, Jeff, for moderating. Vinyl Richie. Loads of you guys. So thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much. 288 in already. That is very, very good, guys. Thank you for joining. There is our Twitter page on the left-hand side, as ever, at FPL Family on Twitter. At FPL Family on Instagram as well, if you want to go and talk to Sam and do some DMing or chat with you over there. Facebook, yes, no, good, bad.
I've tried, but to be honest, this week has just been.
It's been busy.
I've been just a nightmare this week. Like everything's just been a blur. I barely Instagrammed this week, so I'll be better next week.
It's been the little lady's birthday. You've been making cakes. We've been practicing the words to Let It Go, haven't we? And we haven't really had time for a lot of.
I haven't had time to breathe, let alone anything else.
No time for Facebooking. So guys, thank you for joining at FPL Family, Twitter and Instagram, and indeed Facebook if you get a chance. Let's go and have a look then at these games. Now I've got to find the right window. Here we go, and let's have a look. Right, where do we start with this? Shall we start with Mr. Rondon and the game there? I mean, we got to have a word about Salomon Rondon and against Bournemouth. And of all the players across all the games this game week, Rondon came out joint top for BPS. With
just give him a clap.
Bernardo Silva, right? So he is in esteemed company there with 46 BPS, Rondon. Shock result or not there? Because for me, Newcastle seem to be getting it together a little bit, don't they? I mean, they've had a couple of back-to-back clean sheets before this game with a couple of 1-0s, I think. And Rafa's come in and now beaten a very, very good Bournemouth side who we know can attack, home or away. Points for Fraser in this game, which made me very happy, and I think you very happy. You've got Fraser too, who continues to be very, very good value. But if you were a Wilson owner, if you were a David Brooks owner, does this result, given that the fixtures look a little bit tricky for Bournemouth going forward, does it make you a bit of a wary owner if you had one of those players?
No, I don't think so. I think I was surprised by this result, for sure. I mean, when I did eventually look at the results very briefly at half-time and was like, have I entered a parallel universe where like Newcastle were winning and
they're decent, yeah,
and Southampton, and I was just a bit like, I don't understand what's going on here. The thing with Bournemouth is that they've kind of already proved over the last few game weeks that they're a bit fixture proof, like they can score against anybody. Even in that tough game that they had against United last week, they were very unlucky to lose that game. Now, I haven't seen enough about this game to know how well Bournemouth played, but in terms of an FPL asset, I'm not going to throw them out. I mean, I've only got Fraser, and obviously he still did stuff for me this week, so from that point of view, I'm happy. But yeah, I don't think that it's necessarily a risk. I think we've said before that in this tough run of fixtures, or mixed run of fixtures that Bournemouth have, for me, one asset would be enough. I don't think I'd want to be doubling up on Bournemouth at this particular point.
Yeah, and a few of you guys in the live chat, like Osemo, is saying Brooks owner has denied a possible penalty. And yeah, I mean, that's potentially a penalty, and Brooks would have had an assist. You've got to assume that probably Wilson was going to take it. So on another day, both those guys get points. So I'm not, if I was owning them, I think I'd hold them. Let's have a look at the fixtures. They don't look particularly good, as we mentioned. It's Arsenal at home. Manchester City away.
Today, you can score against Arsenal.
Yeah, and Bournemouth at home are a different kettle of fish. There's no doubt about it. They are pretty good. And Arsenal do give up big chances, as we've said before in these live streams. Arsenal clearly, again, didn't lose again today. So that's now 16 games, I think, without losing. However, I was having a look on Arsenal Fan TV before I came on, having a look at some of the Twitter posts on there. General feeling in the Arsenal fan community is that they got away with one today. They got a bit away with one, but we'll cover Arsenal in a second. It's Arsenal, Man City, Huddersfield, Liverpool, and then Wolves for Bournemouth, so that they are bottom right now of the Fantasy Football Scout ticker. If I had their players, Ryan in particular was great in that game. He was all over the place. He was on the set piece. He's on the corners, being very creative. I think he got some bonus points at the weekend as well. So I don't think, even with those fixtures, that I'll be looking to move Fraser on. I think I'd be happy to keep.
I mean, he got a bonus point, got an assist. I'm happy with Ryan Fraser. Every week he just turns over the points. So for me, at that price bracket as well, you're not talking about somebody that's taken up a lot of money in your team with dodgy fixtures. So yeah, I'm certainly holding Fraser.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if I would get on any Bournemouth assets at the moment.
No, I don't think you'd bring them in, would you? No,
I think,
no.
But if you've got them, that it still kind of makes sense to hold them, because like we say, even if they don't pick up league points, they still seem to tick over from an FPL point of view.
Yeah,
so.
okay. And then Newcastle for their part, I mean, aside from Mr. Rondon, who I think, all joking aside, you probably got to have a look at him, I think. I mean, and he is in that bracket where he's in the sort of Jimenez and Ings brackets, I think. 5-6, maybe 5-7 in the game.
The problem with Rondon from the beginning part of the season is that he hasn't been consistently starting, know, and that's the kind of worry for me with Rondon, is that if he's going to consistently start for Newcastle,
is he better than Hosselu and Perez and people like that?
But Newcastle's fixtures are really nice, so if Rondon is going to constantly be in the starting 11, then that is definitely something that you want to have a look at, particularly like you say with Danny Ings getting injured in this game week. If you're holding Danny Ings and you're looking for a replacement, if Rondon can hold his place, then maybe it's not such a joke after all.
Well, listen, I mean, we spoke about Bournemouth being bottom of the shop there on the FF Scout ticker, but right at the top there, Newcastle, Burnley away, West Ham at home, Everton away, Wolves at home, Huddersfield away. For me, I'm going to be looking at that Burnley game after the international break, where Newcastle go to Turf Moor. If Rondon plays and plays well, the next 4 games after that, including those 2 home games against West Ham and Wolves, and then a nice away game against Huddersfield. I mean, Everton is difficult, right? But there's 3 of the next 4, which you've got to have a look at. You've got to have a look at him, particularly with the Danny Ings injury. That we've got to see how difficult, how bad that might be. But equally, Jimenez got an assist this week. So if you were to pick one now in that sort of 5.5 bracket, and we'll put success to one side for a moment, but if you were going for a 5.5 player up top, who would you go with? Who are you on, first of all?
I'm on Jimenez, and I'm happy with Jimenez, to be honest. He ticks over the points nicely. Actually. I mean, last week it was great. Just showered in points last week. This week he's still got another assist in a game where, to be quite honest, I wasn't expecting anything from Jimenez this week, but I played him on the basis that Arsenal's defence can be a little bit shaky at times, so I thought, well, why not? If Wolves do something, Jimenez tends to be a part of it, and yet again, Wolves scored today, and I saw the goal scorer flash up when we were watching the City game, and I was like, oh, that's a bit annoying. I didn't think much else of it, and then I checked, obviously, and it was another Jimenez assist. So for me, Jimenez still has priority over people like Rondon, because he is playing well in a Wolves team that are doing quite well. But if Rondon, with those fixtures, if Rondon can secure his spot in the starting 11, then maybe.
And I think a few of the guys in the live chat are saying about Wolves' fixtures, and you're absolutely spot on to mention that, by the way. Huddersfield at home, Cardiff away, a difficult game against Chelsea at home, but then Newcastle away, Bournemouth at home. I think if I had Jimenez, I'd be very, very keen to keep, and I'd be very keenly keeping an eye on the Danny Ings news over the international break, because if he is out, Jimenez looks like he could be my replacement with Huddersfield at home, Cardiff up next. They are two really, really plum games, so we'll be keeping a very close eye on those.
And with Bennett having spent a lot of time on my bench lately, he certainly won't be over the next couple of game weeks.
Absolutely. All right, so that's Newcastle, Bournemouth. Let's then go to the derby then. Let's talk about Man City 3, Manchester United 1, and City again showing their class. Aguero on the score sheet, as well as David Silva and Gundogan. Bernardo Silva with the 3 bonus points, I think, thanks to the 2 assists.
Yeah.
Disappointing for any Ederson owners, any Mendy owners, anybody that's got Laporte, for example. Again, no clean sheet for Man City. Seem to be, I'm not going to say they're leaky, right, because they're one of the best defences in the league, but there's a couple of game weeks now where Ederson in particular has made an error that's led to a goal. I mean, it was his error today for the penalty. From memory, it was his error in the last game, which meant that they conceded. So you're an Ederson owner. You actually didn't play him this week, did you? So
no.
Talk us through your thinking with the Man City defence.
I, as you all know, have just had Ederson all season, and I've had Speroni as my second keeper. But I had a little bit of money in the bank and an extra transfer this week, and I ummed and ahed all week about what to do with it. And on Friday evening, I decided that I was being ridiculous, and that actually Speroni was looking like he was going to drop. And I thought, if he drops to 3.9, it's a nightmare.
That's annoying, yeah.
So I decided to swap him for Matty Ryan on the basis that nice fixtures. And it's quite nice to just have another keeper as well, particularly, eventually I'm going to play my bench boost and I don't want a non-playing keeper.
Okay.
So yeah, I got Matt Ryan and left Ederson on the bench. I just didn't trust City today to keep a clean sheet.
Okay, yeah, I mean, United is difficult.
Because it's United, right?
Derby,
and it's a derby.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I just thought, do you know what? I just want to be out of it entirely, so I'm just going to get out of that game.
Yeah, and I made there's a really nice point here from Vinyl Richie, so thanks for joining, Richie. He's saying City are so good that we're just getting used to it. They are so consistent that it's just like, I think he makes the right point. We're just used to it now. They're just banging teams every single week. I mean, 3 goals past that United defence is, that's tough. They've got the best goalkeeper in the world, arguably, Manchester United. So, what do you think?
I don't know if they have at the moment.
Maybe not at the moment, but he clearly is. So, from your perspective, how are you feeling about your Man City assets? Because you're just on Ederson still.
Well,
they are banging in goals, left, right, and centre every single game week. Aguero again and David Silva. Who are you considering?
I'm just on Ederson at the moment because I didn't want to get more invested in this game. And actually, with the way my team performed, I did the right thing this week. As I said before, my plan was originally for KDB at the end of this game week, but that's not going to happen. So I now need to think about who I'm going to replace him with. Now, the dilemma kind of is between, do I go for a City midfielder or do I go for Aguero? Now, I don't really want to lose Kane because the Spurs fixtures, there's a couple of iffy ones coming up, a couple of London derbies, but after that they're really nice. So it's a case of, even if I did go to Aguero for the next couple of game weeks, it would be for a couple of game weeks. Then I'd be looking to move him back out for Kane. So it feels like the right thing to do to get a City midfielder, but then you open up a can of worms because it's like, well, who am I going for?
What about David Silva then? I mean, he looks pretty nailed on. We've said before about the fact that Pep needs that creative fulcrum in his side, and without KDB, Silva is that fulcrum, isn't he? And again, right place, right time. Showed great composure on his goal today. I think got 2 bonus points. Yes, 2 bonus points. So another nice haul for David Silva. I think he's 8 point something in the game, so he's not going to break the bank. If you were looking at KDB, you can clearly look at Silva.
Yeah. And
a million more. So how do you feel about him?
Yeah. So I think for me, it's kind of coming down to a choice between doing Silva. I can't get to Sterling because I don't want to lose Salah. So Sterling's out the question, which means that I'm basically looking at the other options in that bracket, which are Bernardo Silva, who I don't fancy to be getting regular starts. David Silva, who is probably my top option. Mahrez, who I really do fancy a punt on. But there's that rotation element that comes into play when you get Mahrez, but then he still comes on and gets something. So does that matter? It's David Silva and Mahrez that I go backwards and forwards on. I do really fancy a punt on Mahrez, but
okay. Well, listen, Bernardo Silva was top for midfielders on BPS this game week with 46. David Silva in with 35. So those two very much top of the shop. Third, with 30 BPS amongst midfielders for this game week, Anthony Martial. Now, talk to me about Anthony Martial. This guy is FPL gold right now. Why are we not on him? I mean, it's something like 5 returns in 5, maybe 5 in 6. I think I just saw in the live chat 54 points in 4 or 5 weeks, something like that. Seems to be scoring left, right, and centre. Took the penalty today. Now, I assume that Pogba is still on penalties if Pogba was on the pitch. But interestingly, Martial looks to be ahead of Lukaku because Lukaku was on the pitch when the penalty was taken. Indeed, got the assist. So, Anthony Martial, talk to me about Manchester United, given that their fixtures include Crystal Palace at home next, Southampton away, and then Arsenal and Fulham at home before a trip to Anfield. 3 of the next 4 for Man United at home against defences that they can absolutely get at. Anthony Martial, got to be considered, right?
Yeah. It's difficult, right? Because I think up until last week, really, I'd been kind of in the camp of Mourinho is a liability, and at some stage, Martial will say or do something which will annoy him, and he'll just drop him.
Right.
But that doesn't seem to be happening. And at the moment, the way Man United are playing, Martial is the premium asset that they have.
He's their biggest attacking threat, easily.
Absolutely. And so it seems ludicrous to not look at him, particularly, like you say, with some good home fixtures coming up.
And MU Fan TV is saying Martial a guaranteed starter. So listen, if you've got Man United fans out there saying that Martial is guaranteed,
well, I don't see how we can drop him now.
You can't drop him. Absolutely can't.
I just don't see how we can drop him.
And when it's saying Martial, the most formed player in the league right now, so they've got 3 of the next 4 looking really, really good, and the away game is Southampton or something. And he's in form. Surely he's got that blend of form and fixtures that means that we should be looking at him. We've got to consider him.
The problem is that you know there are all these players that you need or you want. So so far we've said don't get rid of your Bournemouth midfielder. So that's one space gone. Then we're saying we need a City midfielder. That's another one gone. We need Martial. That's another one.
What about for those of us that have got Goodmanson in their sides? What would you consider doing?
Stop being an idiot.
Goodmanson to Martial looks absolutely on for me this week, I have to tell you.
Yeah, because and then I've got Felipe Anderson, who I'm more than happy with, and the fixtures are nice. So who goes to allow me to get David Silva and Martial?
It's tough, and as MU Fan TV is saying, Martial isn't cheap. He's for the returns that he's getting, he is. But in the grand scheme of things, he's in that 7-point something bracket. Yeah. And there's quite a few people that took Maddison out for Martial this week, which was absolutely a great pick. I didn't do that and went for Goodmanson or Shaqiri on the basis that United were at City. So I wasn't going to bring Martial in for that game, right? But,
a lot of people did.
But some people did, given that they wanted to get on him early before that run of nice fixtures. So fair play if you did. Fair play if you did. Another quick word just before we leave that game is that Luke Shaw, I think, picked up 5th booking. So he is now suspended, I think, for maybe 1 or 2 games. So Luke Shaw owners, if there's any of you still out there, I'm not sure why you would still be out there.
I don't know if many people have got Man United defenders.
Yeah, then it's time to move Luke Shaw on for a couple of weeks, I would say. All right, let's have a quick chat about Arsenal versus Wolves then. So Arsenal seem to, pull one out the bag there. That's 3 draws, I think, back-to-back now for Arsenal in the league. So the form has dipped a little bit, but it's kind of hard to say that because it's still 16 unbeaten. So if I was Emery, if I were Arsenal, I'd be going into that international break feeling pretty positive about things. Maybe have a bit of a reset. For those that aren't going on international duty, have a rest, come back, and then try and attack the next few fixtures, which look pretty tough for Arsenal, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know who they've got next, but after that, it's us,
tough,
I think.
It's pretty tough. There is a London derby in there somewhere. Bournemouth away, which is very difficult. Tottenham at home, which is obviously difficult. Anything can happen in that game. Then it's go to Old Trafford before a nice game at home to Huddersfield and Southampton. So the next 3 for Arsenal look particularly difficult.
The trouble I have with Arsenal at the moment is still who you pick as an Arsenal asset. So in my mind, I kind of look at Arsenal and think, there are a couple of game weeks, I think it's about, like you say, about 3 game weeks time where it's a nice couple of fixtures, Huddersfield and Southampton, and you think, right, I'd really like an Arsenal asset going into those games. Who? Yeah. Who do you go for? Do you go for Lacazette and Aubameyang? But then which one of the 2 do you go for? Do you go for someone like Ozil, or do you go for someone like Ramsey, who picked up the assist today? It's really tough to work out who the asset is to have.
And even Ramsey got the assist but didn't start today. And did Mkhitaryan start? We weren't close enough to that game, were we? But I don't think he did.
I don't think he started. I think he came on. It's really hard within that Arsenal unit to work out who it is as an asset that you want to have from an FPL point of view.
And it's really tough on those of you that own Wolves defenders. And I know there's plenty of you out there that have got Doherty or Bennett or Patricio, indeed 2 of those, or indeed 3 of those.
Yeah.
Now, away at Arsenal, I'd be surprised if anyone's trebling or doubling up on Wolves defenders. But for those that were, very, very unlucky. I, as a Doherty owner, I benched him actually this game week because I didn't expect them to get a clean sheet. But I was looking at the fantasy football fix and thinking, well, I've left 9 points on the bench there because I think he was due for 3 bonus points. I'm pretty sure Doherty wasn't far behind him. So Bennett. Bennett wasn't too far behind him. So there'll be people that will have Bennett and Doherty playing, and they would have missed out on a hell of a lot of points from that Mkhitaryan goal. So unlucky from a Wolves perspective. But just to finish up on Arsenal, I'm with you. I don't know who to have. I mean, touches in the opponent's half was actually led by Xhaka this week. So Xhaka had almost 145 touches in the opponent's half, which was way more than the next best, which was actually his teammate Torreira, who was tied with Kovacic. So those two, Xhaka and Torreira, if anything, that tells you how dominant potentially Arsenal were with the ball. And I say potentially, guys, because I haven't watched the game, I haven't seen the highlights. I've noticed Amwin in the live chat just said that actually Wolves could have won 3-1. So I'm really interested to see on Match of the Day 2, have a look at it in a bit more detail, because the stats suggest the Arsenal midfielders were all over it and holding onto the ball and keeping possession. But you guys are saying, and from what I've seen elsewhere on Twitter, that Wolves easily could have won that game.
It's tough.
Easily could have won that game.
And I think, if you've got an Arsenal asset, hold them, sure. But over the next 3 game weeks, there's, that trip to Old Trafford, there's that London derby against us. They're tough fixtures, and there will be points for Arsenal players in there for sure over those game weeks. But would I get on one in the build-up to those? No. Would I get on them straight after that Man United game ahead of Huddersfield and Southampton? Yes. Okay. So use the next 3 to work out who it is you want, I think, is what I'm going to be doing.
Okay, very good. And let's, for their part in this game, let's look at Wolves, who, as we've mentioned before, have got exceptionally good fixtures coming up, particularly in the very short term with Huddersfield and Cardiff. Then it's the Chelsea game. Then it's Newcastle and Bournemouth. So the next 5 look really, really nice. I mean, even that Chelsea game, Chelsea can concede, and Wolves are pretty good at home. I mean, it is a tough fixture, no doubt about it, but there's 5 really, really nice games there for Wolves, which make, as we mentioned before, Jimenez a good option. But I'm absolutely not considering going anywhere near selling Doherty. I assume you're sticking hold of Bennett for now as well.
Oh, 100%. And Jimenez.
And Jimenez, yeah, absolutely. I think the Wolves assets, we should absolutely stick with them.
And I'll be
given
playing
that the fixtures
them.
look good. Yeah, absolutely. They're not bench fodder for the next few weeks.
They're definitely not.
Jimenez absolutely can come in. All right. Let's talk about Liverpool 2, Fulham 0 then. So we had
the quietest game of the weekend.
Do you know what? It was a weird game. It was obviously Sunday. In the UK, it happened to be midday kickoff. It was a 12 o'clock midday kickoff. I think that affected the atmosphere. I mean, it was not a good performance again by Liverpool from what I saw.
It sounded like the whole of Liverpool had gone out on the night before and were just hanging at that game. Nobody was saying anything.
It was really, really a real lack of atmosphere at Anfield, and I have to say, guys, that Fulham were very unlucky because that first goal. I mean, obviously for Salah captainers, rejoice because that's the goal you wanted, and happy days. You get the points, but Mitrovic scored a header just before that, which was ruled for offside. Now, he probably is a smidgen offside. And it is so close. I mean, I've looked at the replay again and again, and for me, he looks level, but you maybe could make a case for him being just offside. Either way, unlucky.
Don't let Charlie Austin talk about it.
Yeah, VAR. So you've seen those goals given for sure, and then what happens after the goal gets called out for offside is that Mitrovic and a couple of his players are off celebrating near the corner flag. Alisson takes a quick free kick to Trent. Trent plays in Salah, and to be fair to Salah, very, very good finish. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. I was delighted about that.
Well, the best thing about this is that I just sent Lee out into the kitchen to get something. So that Mitrovic scored. I was like, can you just go to the kitchen and get something? He went to the kitchen. As he came back, I was like, oh, Salah scored.
I went off in a huff thinking we were 1-0 down. I came back and we were 1-0 up. I was like, what the hell? What the hell just happened? But nevertheless, guys, I don't want to say that Liverpool were lucky. Well, look, listen, let me take my red goggles off for a second. We were probably a bit lucky in that first half. Sessegnon had a chance as well, which I think clipped the post, and he should have scored. And also, like I say, the Mitrovic header, you've seen those given. So, given that, let's talk about this then, because we've got it in the polls. Is Salah worth 13 million? I still, guys, don't see, and there's a lot of Twitter is really split at the moment. I know Andy and a few of the others out there, Andy from Let's Talk FPL, I know you are as well, are of the opinion that Yes, he is. He still returns the points. Even when he doesn't play well, he still looks dangerous and he still gets goals. My view is that he is not. He is not worth that 13 million. Now, a lot of you guys are considering doing the Salah down to Mane to cover Liverpool. Now, I don't think Mane looked anywhere near 10 million this game week. He was completely anonymous against Fulham. Very, very difficult to see me holding on to him in the sort of medium to long term.
But the fixtures.
Well, we'll have a look at the fixtures in a minute, but just talk about the form. Talk about the form of Salah and Mane. I mean, you're happy to keep Salah then? Happy to have that 13 million invested?
Well, if you think about it, so I've captained Salah, the last 3 or 4 game weeks now. And he is my most expensive player, of course, because he is the most expensive player in the game. Yeah. So if I'm going to captain him, then he's worth it. Now, I get that against Arsenal last week, he didn't return me any points, and that was part of my problem last week. However, he was good in that game. It wasn't that he played badly. He had some good opportunities in that game. He's getting into the right positions. We've talked before about how, as soon as I saw the team sheet and Shaqiri was on it, for me, that's a real positive.
As a Salah owner. Yeah.
I looked at it and was like, brilliant. Shaqiri's playing. There'll be brilliant balls into it, and they're
good understanding between the two, actually.
And so for me, as a Salah owner, I'm looking at him and I can't see myself downgrading him. He is ticking me over the points every week, and if your captain always ticks over the points, what more can you want?
Yeah,
I just don't buy into this Mane thing. And the fixtures are nice for Liverpool, and I want Liverpool coverage in terms of the attack, because Liverpool are really, really good going forward. At the moment, Mane I don't trust. Firmino,
Mane's a bit of a,
Firmino I really like, but he isn't quite there at the moment. He will come good though. Christmas is normally the time when
Firmino's a not invest right now. I just don't.
It's normally over
as Diraj is saying, he's too near the halfway line. He's too deep. He was very creative actually that weekend. He created 5 chances, which was second only to Bernardo Silva. So he is doing his thing. He's doing his Firmino thing. But going back to Salah, Amonit is saying, well, Salah 6 goals and 4 assists, apparently having a bad season. Hazard 7 goals and 4 assists, so only 1 goal more, and apparently he's having a dream. So come on now, where do your loyalties lie?
But this is the thing, I think everybody has got so caught up with the price tag of Salah, and I do understand it.
Well, of course, it's 13 million.
I do understand it, but you can have a decent side still with Salah. I mean, I've got Salah and Kane, the 2 most expensive players in the game. You can still build a decent side with those 2. And they're ticking over points. So, for me, Salah is 100% worth it.
All right. Well, I think the debate will rage on and on and on. But what's interesting is that every time there's a Liverpool home game, you tend to captain Salah. And as a Salah non-owner, it leaves me worried, guys. It really leaves me worried. And going forward, the Liverpool home games where I would want a Liverpool captain, particularly if Man City are not at home that week, because Aguero's my other captain, and of course Hazard's in the mix, of course. But when Liverpool play at home, you want to be able to captain one of their players. And right now, I don't feel like I have a captainable option, because Mane, I think he's still an option because he's still got joint the amount of goals as Salah. I think they're both on 6, right? So he's not exactly a bad pick. But do I trust Mane with the armband? Well, I don't think I do going forward. I don't feel like I would trust him.
You captained him this week, right?
I did captain this week for 3 points, so it was really disappointing. I think it's only the first or second time my captain pick has not come off this game week. But I don't feel like I can captain Mane really going forward. So the Salah and Mane thing is going to rage on. And guys, get over to Twitter, at FPL Family. Get in the comments below. Let us know what you are going to be doing with Salah. And if you're a Mane owner, what are you going to be doing with Mane, given that the likes of Sterling and those guys are around now. Really interested to hear what you guys are doing. Let's have a quick look. And we're going to talk Shaqiri in just a second. Let's have a quick look in the live chat and see what you guys are saying. Carry256, Mane 0 assists, Lee. So fair enough, 6 goals, but 0 assists. So he's not exactly an all-round point scorer in the same way that Salah and some of the others are. Sean Norton is saying, spot on, Sam. Totally agree with you on Salah. Got to have him. Mafio Sol, thank God I didn't captain Mane today, he's saying. Amonit is saying, at Varun, I think so. Varun must have said something about Salah not getting the bonus points, which is another topic of conversation. And Amonit's saying, well, he didn't get a lot of bonus points either last season, but look what he achieved. So, it is split. You guys are really, really split. Ian Matthews, who did I captain? Well, I captained Mane this game week, which, like I say, I was obviously disappointed with. And I don't feel as if I've been unlucky there, because I watched the game. He didn't have a sniff.
No.
He did not have a sniff, so I can't moan at that. I've captained him and he was not good.
Shaqiri and Salah play really well together. So I think when Shaqiri's on the pitch, he's a much better partner with Salah than Mane is.
Okay, so talk to me about Shaqiri then. How much of an option do you think he is? Now, I've seen people on Twitter, and again, we've mentioned Ammonit before. I mean, Ammonit was telling me on Friday, you've got to get Shaqiri. Don't mess about with Goodmanson, get Shaqiri. So
somebody who spoke sense to you.
Well, I tried to get the always listen to Ammonit hashtag trending, but I think it was just me that was posting it. But talk to me about Shaqiri. He absolutely provided the thrust from the midfield as we thought he would. 25 BPS this game week. Let's have a look whether he got any bonus points. I think he did.
No. Robertson.
No. Okay, no bonus points.
Alexander-Arnold and Van Dijk.
But nevertheless, got in amongst the points. So, is he going to be a regular starter? Steve Wynyard is saying Shaqiri's not nailed.
I agree with that.
Yeah, so I think so.
But every single time Shaqiri does start, he really makes a case for himself to be starting.
When he comes on, he gets stuff, right?
Yeah. And so I'm looking at him. So I'm already invested heavily in Liverpool anyway with Salah and Robertson. So I'm not really looking for a treble up. However, I do think Shaqiri is providing potentially a good alternative, a better alternative than Mane anyway.
I'll tell you where I think he is an option is when Liverpool play against the non-top 6 sides. And I remember seeing this from somebody on Twitter having a conversation that, when you've got those teams, a bit like the Kovacic and Barkley dynamic at Chelsea, where you want to have someone that's going to, if Chelsea think they want to plough through somebody, they go for Barkley. If they want somebody to keep the ball and move defences around, then they pick Kovacic. I think Liverpool seems similar, actually. Shaqiri is actually quite a cultured player, but he does provide that thrust. When we're playing against a team that are likely to sit back, he wants to go for it. So if Liverpool and Klopp are playing on one of these top 6 sides, I expect a ball player in there. I expect a Keita or maybe a Wijnaldum to play a bit further forward, or maybe even Ox, I guess, when he comes back. But Ox not really, because Ox
Milner.
is... Milner potentially, but actually Ox is a bit more like a Shaqiri, actually a bit more of a going, a bit more of a battering ram. So I expect actually, as a few of you guys are saying in the live chat, that actually when Liverpool play the weaker teams, the so-called weaker teams like the Fulhams, Shaqiri's going to get starts. He's going to get starts, and when he starts, he seems to return. So. And seems to be an option.
Like I say, as a Salah owner, it makes me happy when I see Shaqiri's name on the team sheet, because those balls that Salah hasn't been getting this season that put him in the positions that he gets in, they're much better when Shaqiri's on the pitch.
Well, Maffeo Sol is saying you can't bring Shaqiri into the conversation until he's had a string of games, and I do agree with you. We do need to see how nailed on he is, but I do think that against the lesser teams he will play. Ian Matthews is saying Shaqiri looks a better pick than Firmino, which I think I agree with right now.
Well, I think he's a better pick than Mane at the moment as well, for me.
Brave shout, but I think I'm possibly with you. Because
the other thing is that we're coming up towards, I know it's early November, but we're coming up to that Christmas season where the fixture congestion starts to come in to play with the Champions League and with the Cup game starting again. Well, the next round at the end of this month, and then the FA Cup kicking off in January, and the tight fixtures over actual Christmas week. So you will see rotation. Now, I think with somebody like Shaqiri, it does seem that whenever he plays, there's points for him, whether he starts the game or not. He's like one of those motivational risks we talk about at Man City. That's not the case for Mane. So
absolutely. All right. And from a full-back perspective, just to finish up on Liverpool, Robertson going absolutely nowhere in my team. What a player. What a guy.
Whoever decided to say he wasn't going to play this week, thanks for causing me stress.
He was always going to play. There's no doubt about that. He's had his rest against Cardiff. But the ball in he played for Shaqiri was unbelievable. I know Trent got an assist as well this weekend, which is obviously great for Trent owners. There's still a little bit of, is he going to be rotated, etc., etc., and is Lovren going to come back in? Does Gomez go wide? So if you can afford it, guys, my advice is Robertson is the one. I just can't see that he's rotated anywhere near as much as Trent, despite the fact he was traded he was rested for the Cardiff game a few weeks ago, but then Moreno come in. We conceded for the first time at Anfield since God knows when,
February,
and everyone can see what a duff player Moreno is. So Robertson absolutely nailed on, and is probably one of the best left backs in the world right now.
Well, you can't.
Got to be, isn't he?
What did he get this week? 12.
My red goggles on there is Robbo. He's got to be one of the best about. He's
you can't.
Sensational.
What more can you ask? A clean sheet, an assist, and 3 bonus points.
Top of the shop for BPS with 41 this game week amongst defenders. So Robertson looking very, very good indeed. Second on that list for BPS, Mr. Juan Foyth, if I've said his name correctly there.
What a legend.
What a week this guy has had. So he's gone from being the worst player on the planet, giving away 2 goals and being dodgy and flaky as hell, to he's winning the game at Crystal Palace. So tell me what you made of that Spurs game. Is he now, I'm not going to say he's an option 1/4, or is he? I don't know.
No, he's not an option because Davinson Sanchez would play.
Sure, okay, sure.
So he's only playing because Davidson's been injured again. So we've got all sorts of defensive injury problems. So, Foyth, obviously last week, had a bit of a mare. But
to say the least, yeah.
At least but credit to the kid, right? He's had an absolute stinker, giving away 2 penalties, nearly cost us the game. This week, comes back, keeps a clean sheet, scores a goal.
Dan Von Hall is saying Juan Foyth has got 86 owners on FPL.
Hey,
86,
is that right?
Bless him. That's got to be, what's that, 0.001 or something ridiculous. He's ultra
should
differential.
have had him as a jammy pick this week, shouldn't I? Can you imagine him picked out?
Imagine the jammy pickness of that.
Yeah, I mean, Spurs.
Come on then, enough of Foyth. Give us your view on the overall performance at Crystal Palace in what was, fair to say, difficult conditions. It was absolutely chucking it down in that game, wasn't it? So the game
horrendous.
didn't really flow quite in the way that we thought it was going to, right?
Yeah, I mean, the weather here last night was absolutely
awful,
diabolical.
wasn't it? Yeah.
I think. I mean, there's a few things to say, isn't there? When Trippier gets injured in the 26th minute, that is a disaster.
That is a real nightmare for his owners, yeah.
It's a total disaster. Well, it's a total disaster for me as an FPL owner, but it's a total disaster for me as a Spurs fan as well, because, we're looking at defensive unit, which will normally have Vertonghen and Sanchez, and instead we're playing Foyth and now Aurier because
Aurier looked okay
out.
when he was fine.
To be fair to Aurier, he actually played very, very well when he came on. So, that's fine. And obviously Toby's playing well at the moment and was in the bonus points this week. Going forward, it's really hard with Spurs at the moment because we aren't playing great, but we are ticking over the points nicely. If we're winning games, playing not at our best by any stretch. I find it really difficult with that's not right, with picking a Spurs player at the moment because Dele Alli played, I thought, really well last night. The midfield
is a minefield, isn't it?
Eriksen not playing again. And I know that they've been injured and he's easing them back in, so one of them's playing and then the next one's playing. And I get it.
I worry about Eriksen, though. I think this abdominal thing is like an ongoing thing. I just, even though the Spurs fixtures look great in a couple of weeks, guys, by the way, from Gameweek 15, you absolutely got to consider a Spurs player. For me, I'm not considering Eriksen, as much as that pains me to say it, because I love Eriksen. He's a great player. But this abdominal thing is kind of, he's starting some games, he's not. It's just too much of a risky option for that money.
So I don't think that's the problem. I think that has been the problem. But I think at the moment, from what Pochettino's saying, he's just easing Eriksen and Ali. Then he's basically saying they're not able to play that many games in a week. So if one of them starts one game, the other one will start the next game until they're both back to full fitness. I thought Dele played really well last night. He was all over the place, in good positions. Sonny obviously came on, played well, I thought.
What I will say about Spurs right now, and Amonet, again, love it. I love it when Amonet joins. He's got so many great stats and points. Brilliant. So Amonet, again, has come out with another little nugget, which I read on Twitter the other night, about the fact that Spurs are not often blowing teams away either. You're often winning by the odd goal. It's 1-0, 2-1. Now, I think it's fair to say, and I think you'd back me up in saying this, that last season or in seasons previous, Spurs draw those games. But the fact you're winning them this season is great. It means you've had the best start in the Premier League for however many years. Ever. So Spurs doing fantastically well so far this season. But not blowing teams away. So have you got any captain choices there? If you get Kane in for game week 15, can you confidently captain him?
Yeah, I will be.
Can you?
I'll captain Kane from game week 15 for about 5 game weeks.
Wow, okay.
I think for me, as a Spurs fan, I'm pleased with how Spurs are playing at the moment because we're not playing great, but yet we're winning games. And they are, exactly as Amonet said, they are games that we would have been losing last season or at least drawing last season.
And Kane not in the top 10 forwards for BPS, so he's beaten by the likes of Ings, who only played 40 minutes or so. Firmino, we said, had a bad game. Vardy didn't score. Arnautovic, who blanked. Despite getting an assist, he's not in that top 10.
Bit of a jammy assist, to be honest.
Is his all-round performance good enough from an FPL perspective to warrant the investment? You clearly think he is. Because he's in your team, right?
Well, I mean, you can't take him out for Palace, can you? So look, I've got two choices here, right? I've got Spurs playing at Palace, or I swap him for Aguero, who's playing in the Manchester derby.
Sure.
Like, that was never going to be a transfer that I was going to do. Over the next couple of weeks, where we've got Chelsea next and then Arsenal, it's up for debate what I do. I'm probably going to lose Trippier over those two games because, well, one is injured anyway at the moment.
Is it a hamstring for Trippier? Does it look a bad one?
It looks quite bad. So I'm waiting for news on Trippier. It didn't look great. I mean, I suppose the good thing is it won't go on international duty now.
That's very true.
So at least it's international break, so they've got a bit of time to work with him. I'm probably going to lose Trippier for a couple of game weeks and then work out what I do with him in terms of game week 15 when the fixtures get good. But yeah, from an FPL point of view, there are Spurs options out there, but I think the difficulty is that we're not, like you say, we're not blowing teams away, so we're never going to score 5 or 6 goals at the moment. And when you've got City and Liverpool who are regularly scoring a lot of goals from an FPL point of view,
City.
But even you, 2-0 today, you know, when you've got players in teams that are regularly scoring a lot of goals, from an FPL point of view, they look good. But I think with Spurs, it is worth waiting. Game week 15 onwards, those fixtures will surely our play and everything else that's going on will improve by then.
All right, well, let's have a look at them while we're here. So after the international break, it is Chelsea and Arsenal, which is tough. There's no doubt about it. But then after that, you're right, Southampton, Leicester, Burnley. I'm not going to scroll right, but if I did scroll right, I think it looks pretty good for a period of time. So for me, I can't invest the sort of money that you need to invest to get Kane. I just can't do that. And in the midfield, I'm still scouting them. I'm still having a look and scouting the Spurs midfielders to see who comes to the fore. Because I do fancy one. I just don't know who. And if you look at the BPS system in that Palace versus Spurs game, it tells you everything you need to know. Spurs' top performers, Foyth, Lloris, Alderweireld, Aurier and Davis. So there's no midfielder that's really standing out right now. So I'm still scouting.
And the thing is that by the time game week 15 rolls around, these injuries for Dele and Eriksen will have rectified themselves in terms of their ability to play 90 minutes twice a week. So what does that mean in terms of Lamela and Son and Moura? You just need to keep that all in mind.
Okay, all right.
Keep an eye on Spurs.
So listen, we're on 56 minutes already. We're rapidly running out of time. We've probably got 5 or 6 more games to cover. So we're not going to go individually, but let's just have a quick talk about some of the highlights. So Huddersfield 1, West Ham 1. Talk to me about Arnautovic. Talk me through your transfer for this game, which was Maddison out for Felipe Anderson.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the highlights. I've missed that one on Match of the Day. How did Anderson look? You're obviously pretty happy to have him, given that the fixtures look all right going forward as well.
Yeah.
So do you think he can cover Arnautovic? You obviously must think he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. I feel very happy with my kind of two strikers in success at the moment, and therefore I don't want to disrupt my team to get an Arnautovic. I see the value in an Arnautovic totally, but it was a lot of disruption to the rest of my team to get him.
Yeah, sure.
Felipe Anderson, no disruption at all. In fact, it saved me 0.1 because Maddison, who was absolutely, as you all know from last time we streamed, doing my head in.
To say the least, you were not happy about Maddison's blank in the last game, were you?
He's
to say the least.
So frustrating, honestly. I
couldn't believe how stressed you were.
I can't go on another Maddison rant, but the man honestly infuriated me. So do you know what? When that press conference came out and he was injured, I was thrilled. Literally, instantly changed him to... I just thought, do you know what? I'm holding this guy.
He's done his knee? Yes.
Brilliant. Get out of my team. I'm holding this guy because they're playing Burnley, who are rubbish. So I'm holding him. And I'm holding him thinking, I don't want you in my team. I do not want you. But if I get you out before this Burnley game, it's a disaster. Oh, you're injured. Absolutely brilliant.
So Felipe Anderson, a very, very good pick.
Seemed like the obvious transfer, to be honest.
Okay. One we need to look out for, and we called him out on the last stream, was Dean Garner, a nice 4.5 enabler. Got taken off at half-time in that game, from what I understand. So I wonder whether that bandwagon, that ship might have already sailed already. And I think there's a few people on Twitter that were saying, we've been here before with young West Ham players. We've had players like Zavon Hines and people like that. Have we been here before? Is it a bit of a trap? Who knows? The one thing I will say is that once you get one of these 4.5 players in, once you get a Dean Garner, once you get a Success, once you get a Camarasa, they're kind of stuck in your team for a bit, aren't they? Because you've got to then find probably quite a bit of money to even make a little upgrade. So to that end, how do you feel about having Isaac Success in your team? I mean, if you go back to last game week or maybe the game week before, he looked like the perfect 4.5 enabler and obviously got on the score sheet. Now, not so much in my opinion, and it's only a matter of time before Deeney and co come back. How do you feel about having success in your team? Are you still pretty happy and you just stick him on the bench, or what's your plan?
I mean, he's 4.5. I just stick him on the bench. At the end of the day, and I said this when I got him, I didn't ever get success expecting him to score me hat-tricks every week. And I didn't ever get success expecting him to play 90 minutes every week, because that isn't realistic in a team where, you know, there are some very, Deeney and Gray, there are some good other Watford striking options who are before him in the pecking order, if you like. So I got success on the basis that even on the game weeks where he doesn't start, he does tend to get 10 minutes or so. So he's going to tick over the points, 1 or 2. So there's always an option to come off the bench if I need it, with somebody who's going to score something rather than
Mark
nothing.
O'Leary is saying success to Rondon, Sam. What are you feeling?
Well, maybe.
Maybe got some money in the bank for that?
I have got a bit of money in the bank, yeah. But yeah, for me at the moment, success is fine. I'm not going to play him every week. If he doesn't start, then fine. I played him this week, but probably next week I won't, because I'll play Bennett.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right, and from Southampton's part in that game, Gabbiadini, I'm not for a minute suggesting we all go and jump on that guy. I think we all went there maybe last year or the year before, and all got burnt, I think. So I don't think I'm going there. But Danny Ings with the assist was good. I was pleased to have him. Strangely got 2 bonus points out of that game, despite only getting 18 in the BPS system. So that tells you
18? Is that all he got?
He only got 18. Yeah,
and he got 2 bonus points for that.
Yeah. So he only played, didn't even finish the first half, and he got 2 bonus points and assists. So
that was a low bonus scoring week.
A very, very jammy 6 points for all Ings owners, of which I was one. So very happy to see that. However, going forward now, we've got a bit of a problem, because I think Ings has got an injury. So we've at least got
Rondon.
The international break to see how that goes. And yeah, maybe Rondon's an option. Let's see.
Thing is, I worry for Southampton without Danny Ings, because Danny Ings has been good for them. Even if he's not been scoring the fantasy points, he's looked good for them. So without them, I worry for them even more.
Absolutely, I think so. Tons more action we could talk through, but there's only one other game that I think from an FPL perspective I want to cover, which is Chelsea-Everton. A 0-0, but a very spicy 0-0, wasn't it? It's particularly in the first half. There was a lot of tackles. There was a lot of needle in that game, wasn't there? It was. I liked it. I liked the game.
Increasingly frustrated with Marcus Alonso in that game, because he could have scored a couple of times.
I'll tell you what, Alonso was a smidgen away from a 20-pointer. Alonso. I mean, Pickford pulled off a good save in the first half. I think he had another chance which hit the post the second half. On the basis of what we've seen today, I'll be keeping hold of him for sure. I've got no thoughts of selling Alonso right now. Seems to, certainly today had a bit more license to go forward. 2 bonus points as well today, so pretty happy with that. Overall thoughts on the game? Yerry Mina for Everton, first start for him. Did he make them a little bit more assured at the back, did you think?
This was one of the most exciting 0-0s I've ever watched. It was good. It was a good game from a
borderline exciting, wasn't it? Yeah, it was pretty good.
Normally
for a 0-0, it was good.
You normally watch a 0-0 and it's like, oh, this is dull. Like nobody's doing anything. This one,
it was a better game than Liverpool Fulham, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. There were some good opportunities for both sides. I mean, Michael Keane, Jammer pick from a couple of weeks ago. He was unlucky not to get on the score sheet.
Deeney passed the eye test again for me.
And a bonus point for him, bonus points for Keane. I mean, it was all the defenders, wasn't it? David Luiz, Alonso, Keane, Pickford and Deeney who got the bonus points this week. So that tells you how attacking the game was.
And what about Yerry Mina? Any thoughts on him? Is he a goal threat as well as potentially going to keep clean sheets?
No,
Could be.
Maybe.
Could be. Let's see. I mean, keep an eye on him. I saw a stat from, who was it? FPL Prince, I think, as I was coming on. I want to try and find the tweet, because it was a real nice tweet about Everton's defence and how well they've been playing recently. I'm pretty sure I retweeted it. Yeah, here it is. So, if you're not checking out FPL Prince on Twitter, go check him out at the FPL Prince. Everton have already conceded 3 goals in the last 6 games, and their next 4 are Cardiff at home, Liverpool away, Newcastle home, Watford home.
Interesting.
So I'm absolutely keeping Richarlison with those 3 home games out of the next 4.
Given that I've got an injured defender.
Yeah, and do you want to look at the likes of Mina and Deeney and people like that, and Keane maybe even? Is there a case for an Everton defender there? Got to be, right? Got to be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the scout obviously for a defender, because even if Trippier isn't injured, I don't think I want him for Arsenal and Chelsea.
Yeah, sure.
So maybe it's worth having a little look at Everton and seeing if there's an option in there.
Yeah, and as Rushil Joshi says, you're absolutely right, that Mina scored a couple for Colombia. If you remember, he was the guy, I believe, I think I got this right, guys, he was the guy that took the England and Colombia game to extra time in the World Cup. He was the guy that scored that goal. So
Annoyingly,
yeah, at the time. We're over that now.
We're over it.
It's a long, distant memory. So listen, guys, that is as much of the FPL action as we've got time to cover. I actually thought it was a really intriguing game week. I mean, there was FPL talking points in most of the games, to be fair. Most of the games. Very, very good indeed. Let's have a look at how we're doing in terms of points and ranks and leagues and all that sort of stuff. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so that you guys can see this a bit better.
It's been all right so far, but now you're going to want me to look at this and I'm not going to be able to see.
Well, I am on... So this is me right now, and I think all of the ranks, etc. are updated. So 57 points, which feels very average, guys. It feels about par for the course.
What does that overall rank say?
38k, which is... I think I was like maybe 39. So
38k?
Yeah, why do you sound so surprised? You pleased with that? I'm very pleased with that. So listen,
I'm quite surprised by that.
It looks like a very, very weeny small red arrow, because I think I couldn't remember whether I was 37 or 39, but I've more or less, guys, stayed the same. I'm about par, and in a game where I got my captain wrong, really wrong, then I'm pretty happy with that. I don't know who would have captained otherwise had I not gone Mane. I guess Aguero, but I would have been pretty tempted by Hazard as well. The dream team again at the back is Alonso and Robertson. For me, the Ram defence that we've mentioned so many times on here with Robertson, Alonso and Mendy continues to perform. I mean, it continues to perform every week. I think one or the other might go. A couple of weeks ago I was a bit flaky with Alonso, but then he's come back and got a couple of clean sheets and an assist. This week I'm a bit like Mendy, but then he's had 2 weeks where Ederson's let him down. It's not as if he's been performing badly. Robertson is absolutely staying. I think he's just an absolute legend. Plus, he's Liverpool, so I just can't bring myself to get rid of him. And then Doherty, as we mentioned before.
What's Goodmanson doing there?
Oh, just don't.
Why is he there?
And now he's yellow flagged. Why is he yellow flagged? What's wrong with him?
Get him out!
With you, Johan?
What is the matter?
A calf injury. Oh,
it's as bad as you.
Well, yeah, I have genuinely got a calf injury. I am yellow flagged as well. Not playing.
No, you're red flagged. You're not allowed to play.
I'm red flagged for sure. And the way that I recover from my injuries, I'll be red flagged for some time. So,
I mean, you've got time to think about your transfers, though. At least now you're red flagged and stop making these decisions.
Johan Berg Goodmanson coming into my team with a 3-pointer followed by a yellow flag has got to be one of the worst decisions so far this season. But it is what it is, guys. He's in there stinking up my team.
Goodmanson.
He's probably going to go for Martial, to be honest with you.
Oh, my Lord. Why didn't you just do that on Friday?
Fraser looking good. Aguero looking good. Arnie, I'm pretty happy to stick on. And then Ings we need to look at too. The Richarlison injury as well today. He went off with a groin injury, so we need to keep an eye on that as well. There's yellow flags all over the place, guys. But I tell you what normally happens before we have an international break is that you get a few of these, don't you? You get players with international break injuries. Richarlison... I don't know if I should even mention this on the stream, but I remember saying to you during the game, he kept feeling himself a lot, Richarlison, didn't he? He just kept, and I was just like, every time the camera went to him, I was just like, he just keeps feeling his groin. I was like, this is weird. Why does he keep doing that? And clearly, it was because he had a problem. And towards the end of the game, it obviously pinged or whatever. And I think Silva was kind of 50-50 as to whether he was even going to play at all. And I think he'd come out and more or less said he can play some of the game. Well, he played 88 minutes and ended up tweaking his groin. So you need to keep an eye on that now as a Richarlison owner. One thing's for sure is that I don't want to transfer him out because the Everton fixtures look absolutely sensational, I think, for the next couple. Cardiff, then it's Liverpool, but then Newcastle and Watford. I want him for those games. I want him. So I definitely don't want to take him out. So there we are, guys. 57 points. That is okay. It's fine. I'm okay with it. I've got 2 free transfers going into the international break. I've got a very, very small red arrow. I'm 38k overall. I feel like it was a bit of just an okay game week. And given that I had the wrong captain, I think I'm okay with that. Let's have a look at your score. Very, very good score for this game week. Very, very good score for this game week. 70 points. Sam is back. After a flaky game week last week.
Flaky? That's generous. Downright awful.
After an absolute stinker of a game week. And I think I was trying to be nice to you last week and going, It's fine. It's average. You can.
But
make
we
it
did
up.
say last week that my team for this game week looked good. And to be fair,
yeah.
And I should have 5 more points because of Trippier.
Mafio Soul, by the way, is saying, well done, Lee. Imagine how high you'd be if you took it seriously. Cheers, Mafio Soul. Cheers, yeah, I like that. So 70 points for Sam, an absolutely stonking game week. 105k, very, very good indeed. Back up to 67
well, thank God for that.
From where were you?
118k.
118k up, so it's a 40 odd k, 50 odd k game week rank, overall rank rise. So it's very, very good going international break. Talk us through the team and how it went.
Yeah, so actually my keepers wiped their faces. One could have been either of them, really. Happy with Alonso, happy with Robertson, very happy with Felipe Anderson.
And you're unlucky with Trippier, actually. I mean, if Trippier
should have been 5
doesn't
more.
get injured, you're 5 more points, yeah.
Very happy with my captain choice this week. Happy with Fraser. Bit jammy with Kane because I'm not sure that was an assist, but hey ho. Take it. Happy with Jimenez yet again. So yeah, I think, Hazard, annoying, but he can't do something every week, right? Really, therefore, it's only success, and I don't expect him to. And Trippier irritates me, but.
So, any problems in your team? What's your initial thoughts about going into international break? Where do you need to focus? Do you think?
I think my transfer, regardless of what happens over international break, is going to be Trippier out for the next 2 game weeks because it's a lot of money to sit on my bench for 2 weeks. I'm not going to play him against Arsenal and Chelsea, and I think given. I've not said very nice things about them this season, but I think I'm going to go Everton as my defender in replacement for Trippier for a couple of weeks, and then I'll get back on a Spurs defender in game week 15.
It'd be interesting to see the underlying stats from Mina and from Dino in that game, because I think for me it's one of those two.
Oh, interesting.
Do you fancy the goal threat potentially of Mina, or do you fancy the assist threat and the creativity of Dino? Very interesting.
Quite frankly, I fancy Keane, but there you are.
Oh, sorry, I missed that bit about you on Michael Keane. Okay.
Well, I just fancied him only because I did some stats reading for him for a dummy pick a few weeks ago, and the stats are quite good for him, and I fancy him as a bit of a differential pick.
Well, and one of the stats that flashed up during the game was that Everton, I think, are the second highest goals conceded from set pieces this season. So I'm hoping, I'm thinking from an Everton perspective, with Mina being in there, maybe, they've got a bit more shape and a bit more, maybe they've been working on them or something, but I don't know, because today they looked reasonably solid. I know Pickford had a good game, but they were reasonably solid. All right, so there we go. 70 points. Very, very, very good game week. 105k. Brilliant. So back up into 67. Back up to where you should be. Absolutely right. Still love that kit, by the way. Beautiful pink. Beautiful pink. Let's have a look at the live stream regulars league. Let's see how you guys are getting on. I think the game week scores are updated. I don't know whether the overall leagues are updated or not yet, but let's have a look at how you guys are getting on. 72 for Chris Bell. Chris is having a great season, by the way.
I tell you what,
he's having a great season.
Chris is absolutely storming it this year.
Yeah,
but he said to me a few weeks back that he's decided to take it a bit more seriously this year, and he's posting his team and stuff. Yeah, posting it on Instagram and stuff, and it's making a massive difference. He's doing so well this season.
Chris, every week, good friend of the stream. I speak to him fairly regularly on Twitter. So 72 for Chris this week. Very good. I like that. It's a 67. Not many in the 70s here. I mean, you've had a very, very good game week.
Well, it makes a change, doesn't it?
Shuvik, very good. 70. Excellent. Very, very good indeed. Let's see who else. Any other 70s? Let's see. There's a 39 there. We'll talk wooden spoons in a minute. 70 for Karam. Well done, Karam. Very good. 70. Oh, that's you. I was going to say 70 for Sam Bonfield. Well done, Sam, if you're listening. Very good. 70.
Makes a change for me to be at the top. That makes a change.
70 for Michelle. Let's have a look for Michelle.
Ah, Michelle.
Very, very good. Very good. 67k. You and Michelle kind of head to head this year. Very good. Shaqiri. There we go. There's the shout. Very, very good. Let's have a look at that.
So you should have listened to Michelle.
I should have. There's a lot of people I should have listened to. There wasn't many people saying Goodman.
She probably would have told you to do that as well.
She would have. Absolutely. And let's have a look. Down the bottom of the table. Let's see how you guys are getting on down here. There's a 69 for Ricardo Pagan. Well done. Andrew Yee, 70. Andrew's in tonight, I think.
Well done, Andrew.
Let's have a quick look at Andrew's team. Very good. Let's see. Salah captain. Martial, very good. Holebas. Nice pick. Holebas. Very, very good. And Alonso 8 as well. So that's a nice score for Andrew. 70 points. Very good. Let's have a look at wooden spoons. I did see a 30-something on the first page. Nothing in there. It's all 50s and 60s. So I don't think we're going to have anything there. Shout if you see something. remember seeing a 30 somewhere in here.
39, you said.
39 for Tim Hebes, or Hebes. Sorry if I've pronounced that wrong, Tim.
There's an English flag. That's handy.
English flag. Excellent. Despite the overall rank being 73, which is very good indeed. Very, very good indeed at 73k. The Mane captain has let me down, has also let Tim down. Lacazette not performing at home to Wolves, which you would expect. You'd expect him to maybe get something today. Aguero good, but the rest, there's a lot of 2-pointers in there. Wan-Bissaka 2, double West Ham defence.
Actually, that Wan-Bissaka one was unlucky because he played really well against us.
He did, and I think the Fabianski Balbuena, I mean, West Ham just, that one goal conceded to Huddersfield has meant the double clean sheet wipeout. So Tim can consider himself a little bit unlucky. So Tim, if you're listening, if you follow us on Twitter at FPL Family, Tim, come find us, come and tell us your address, and we will get a wooden spoon out to you, sir, with the grand toast of 39. 39.
What about a Manager of the Month preview? How are we getting on for that?
Well, we've only had 1 week, haven't we? 1 or 2 weeks? Let's have a look.
2 in, aren't we?
2 weeks in. We're 2 weeks in. So, Mr. Finley Badder is up there.
No.
Yes. He's
Joseph.
up there. He's up there. So, Mark Nunes, top of the shop with Red Explosion. Looking pretty good. Overall rank of 4k. Goodness me.
Wow,
Mark.
well done.
Absolutely brilliant, Mark. Absolutely. Joe in second place right now for Manager of the Month. Overall rank 24k. Very, very good
Very
indeed.
good, Joe.
Marsan, he of Wooden Spoon
Wooden Spoon fame. We've
or...
sent Wooden Spoon to Martin.
I'm pretty sure Marsan has got.
He wants to
he's
go
got
for
a spoon before, so he's now looking at
He's
Manager
in
of the Month.
Ireland. I've sent something to Ireland to him.
He is in Ireland. You're absolutely right. Overall rank of 294k. So he might, at this rate, be getting a mug to go with his spoon. He's going to have a whole FPL Family kitchen at this rate. Brilliant. Alex Summerson in fourth with 100 points, and then Hannah in with 99 points, and then me, would you believe?
No.
In sixth at 95. So, it's looking like it's hotting up. It's hotting up in the race for November Manager of the Month with Mark very, very much out indeed by 16 points right now. Very good. Carry256 is saying the league isn't updated. So, well, maybe we have been a bit premature with that. But listen, what we will do is we will obviously get some league updates out there on Twitter. I think the wooden spoon is Tim Hebes, Tim Hebes, Hebbes, however you say it. Apologies, Tim. Come find us through any of your favourite social media, Tim, and we will get that wooden spoon out to you for Game Week 12. All right, I think that is it, guys. That is it. Well done this game week for any of you into the 70s, like yourself. Excellent game week. Very, very good. And if you're in the 60s, equally good. Very, very good. Not equally good. Not quite as good, but still very, very good to be in the 60s.
Don't forget about the polls.
Oh, every week. Every flipping week. I get into my wrap up and I just completely forget about it.
Oh, they've just started as well. Look. Polls. Thanks,
guys. Just hit 3 points.
I was a bit loud then.
That was you very loud.
I'm going to go away from the... No, I think I'll go away from the mic.
Oh, really? I just noticed that we hit 3.3k subscribers while we've been on, guys. So thank you very much for passing the 3.3k. If you're new around here, you like the videos, hit that subscribe button. We'd love you to do that and hit notify too so that you know that we're live. That would be awesome. Would you like to answer these questions, Sam? Best set and forget captain for the next 5 game weeks? Hazard, Sterling, Aguero or Salah?
Salah.
Okay. You are with the majority. 41% go with Salah, 33 for Aguero, 13 for Sterling and 11 for Hazard. The must-own defender going into Christmas: Robertson, Mendy, Alonso or Trippier?
Robertson.
Robbo, absolutely right. Oh, Alonso, I think with the Chelsea fixtures, I think that makes some sense.
Well, the Liverpool fixtures are great.
Liverpool fixtures are okay. I think they toughen up in a few weeks, but Alonso looked pretty good for a while. So 50% Alonso.
I'll happily have both.
I think have both, yeah, why not? 37 for Robertson, 8 for Mendy and only 2 for Trippier, which I think kind of makes sense. I know the Spurs fixtures are good in a couple of weeks, but you've got a couple
but Chelsea
and
are not Arsenal next, so...
Yeah, and then you've got the injury, etc., etc. Is Salah worth £13 million? Yes or no?
Yes. You
say he is. 66% say no. 33% say yes. So we are kind of split 2/3, guys, here. We are split 2/3. 1 in every 3 of you say that he is worth 13 million, but 2 in every 3 of you say that he is not worth 13 million. I think this is it's really splitting the community right now. It's a really, really interesting question. Is it Rondon time, Sam? Yes, absolutely, of course, or no? And you can't say no.
What was is there like a middling answer? A yes? Like
no, it's yes, absolutely, of course, or no.
Of course.
Of course. Of course. 72%. Despite me putting 3 positive answers in there, you guys have found the no button. 72% say no for Rondon.
There wasn't a wait and see button, so of course you've just got to get him in.
I think you've got to say no, haven't you? I mean,
we can't say no. It's Rondon.
Of course you can. He's had one good week. You can't bring him in the back of one good week. But listen, Burnley away next for Newcastle. If he goes to Burnley and performs,
I'm going to write a song about him if he does.
What? You're gonna?
If Rondon scores in the next game week, we'll write a song about him.
You can't say things like that.
I'm
because
going to.
now I'm on. So everyone on Twitter will be going, as soon as he bags against Burnley, everyone's going to be saying, can't wait for Sam's song. Can't wait for the song about Rondon.
I'm going to write a song. If Rondon scores against, who's he got? Burnley.
Burnley away, who concede a lot of chances. They concede a lot of shots.
I'll write a song about Rondon.
What are you saying, woman? You're not going to write a song about Rondon and perform it live on stream?
Yeah. Because if
wow, guys, this is news.
Because Rondon,
this is news.
Because Rondon Watch will come back. So if he concedes if he scores against Burnley, that's Rondon Watch back as a fixture on the FPL Family, and therefore there will be a song.
MU Fan TV is saying no. Ibrahim plays E. Oh God, Sam, no. Will Hugo is saying I've heard he's a Frozen fan. Aaron Chen, I'm waiting for that song. Carry 256, cannot wait. You can't say things like that because now they will hold you to it. It's got to happen
I'll
now.
do it.
Oh, wow.
If Rondon scores against Burnley, I mean, I can't sing, guys, so it could be a problem.
Wow.
But I'll write a song.
72% of you in the polls, guys, are saying it is Rondon time. No, it is not Rondon time. 72%. 10% saying of course, 9% saying absolutely, and 7% saying yes. So the rest of you obviously saying.
But add them together because they're all the same thing.
That's what I'm saying. You know, so what's that? 28% of you saying that there's potential for Rondon.
It's nearly a third of you.
Over a quarter of you saying there's potential for Rondon. All right, guys, that is it. Thank you for joining us. Performing on the FPL show, Awuga Brick says.
We are back on there in a couple of weeks. Can you imagine if I burst into a Rondon
in a couple
song?
of weeks? Oh,
in fact, I might try and get Rondon in the FPL show.
Well, I think Jules will welcome that. I think she'll be all over that, bringing Rondon into the equation. Andrew Yee, praying for a Rondon goal versus Burnley.
I was going to say praying for none.
Rondon hat-trick incoming. Very, very good.
He could be the jammy pick as well for next week.
Awuga Prick says, should we make a poll for Sam singing or not? That will be in the midweek stream next week, guys.
Are we midweek streaming because it's international break?
Oh, we've got a bit of a break, haven't we? We've got a break, so probably no stream next week.
Next Sunday night.
So, what do we
have it as a poll for next Sunday night. Shall Sam sing?
Well, even next Sunday night, is there not international games that weekend?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So maybe it might be probably the week after, is
it?
Is Is that when we're on FPL show? We've got maybe it's the 22nd, isn't it? We're on there. A couple of weeks. So, guys, listen. We will keep you up to date on Twitter at FPL Family and Instagram at FPL Family when we will do our next live stream.
Yeah, that week. That Thursday night we won't be here, so we'll have to do it Sunday. That'll have to be our preview of Gameweek 13 because we're not here for that Thursday.
So we could do a bit of a bonus stream that Sunday the 18th, which will be a very, very early thoughts on
13
Gameweek 13, as well as you'll see us on the FPL show that game week as well. So we'll have a bit of a week off then. Is it Nations League again?
Yeah.
Is it? Oh man, such a waste.
Do you even know what the Nations League is yet?
I don't care.
Have you worked it out?
I just don't care. I just think it's such a waste of time. And every time the Liverpool players go away, they get injured. They get injured every time, Sam. Guarantee it. So, guys, enjoy the Nations League if you're that way inclined. I'm not, so try and enjoy it. But we will be back next Sunday then, according to Sam. We will have a bit of a Game Week 13 preview, even though we'll be a week or so away. But because we'll be at the FPL show, we won't do one on that Thursday before. Yeah. We'll do it the Sunday before on the 18th. But as ever, keep up to date with us at FPL Family on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and all your favourite social media. Before you go, still 213 of you in here. Hit that like button before you go. We'd love you to do that. That helps with all the YouTube analytics, helps us get up the list in terms of favoured videos and stuff. Hit the sub button if you're new around here. Hit that notification button as well so that you know when we're live. We get a bit of a push notification. Well done in Game Week 12. We will see you in a week's time when we will preview Game Week 13. Until then, have a great evening and see you then. Cheers, guys.
Bye, everyone. Take care.